Come on friends, welcome to executivecounseling.in. Today I am going to talk to you about a very unpleasant word but very significant in the corporate parlance. I am going to talk to you about stigma for mental health. Now, the word stigma has its origin from ancient Greece, where the criminals and the slaves were tattooed and they were branded, and it was called as a stigma. So this identifying a negative stereotype and looking at them in a negative attitude is what is called as stigma. Stigma is very much prevalent in the society, particularly in India, and hence at executivecounseling.in we are trying to address this issue. Stigma is about a negative stereotype towards a person or towards a group. Now, when you look at mental health, we have a tendency in our society to consider people with mental health problems with a negative stereotype attitude. We look them downwards. Now, let me talk to you, when the attitude of stigma is converted into an action, then it is called as discrimination. And hence, the United Nations General Assembly and the WHO has set up guided principles in organizations to work against the stigma towards mental health. In India's corporate sector, the employees are suffering with a lot of mental distress. There are issues related to stress, anxiety, depression, which are affecting their professional as well as personal life. During such circumstances, they are not open enough to come and talk about their problem. Why? Because they are fearful. They are fearful their colleagues will try to isolate them out. They are fearful because their bosses will not give them a very significant posting or a very senior responsibility. They will be considered as weak personalities. There is also a fear that management will fire them. So this fear in them is making them inward and looking at themselves with fear, and this only exasperates the mental illness. So what happens? There is an increase in absenteeism. There is a decrease in productivity. Now, this malady is not properly understood by the Indian corporate sector, because Indian corporate sector as such is part of the Indian society, and it in itself has a certain level of stigma. It is under such circumstances, it is very important for the corporates to understand that mental well-being and mental ill health is as equal that of a physical problem. So it is very important for the corporate sector to look at mental health issues and come out with policies and programs which will address these issues. And it is in this context that executivecounseling.in is planning to work out a series of webinars and online and offline workshops on awareness of mental health and destigmatizing the corporate sector by communicating to them the importance of building up a proper mental health policy. In this context, I propose to conduct a webinar, but before that, I would like to get your feedbacks, your thought processes, and then please write to me in my email at rajeshmenon@executivecounseling.in. Let me get your feedback and let us meet over a webinar. Thank you.